everybody, my name is Ostaro, your host. We have a great show today for you. It is dedicated to the youth of today. We have questions on astrology, and then we'll have a discussion and a guest interview, which you will see later. I hope you like it. And here is your co-host, Eleanor Grayson.
Why did you become an astrologer?
Well, I did not become an astrologer in 2 minutes. I became an astrologer with a certain process. When I used to live in India, my father was a physician and was visited by a lot of astrologers every day. And I used to watch them open a book and tell you the future. And I was intrigued by this. So I said to myself, if I can learn this, I can also tell people's future. So when I landed up in England and in France, I started to study astrology. And I was very curious to know what the future shall bring. So when I did more and more research, and I was able to tell immediate events, things that will happen tomorrow, the day after, slowly I developed a science and an art of foretelling the future, and that's the way it came about.
You're an astrologer. Do you believe our fate can be changed?
The fate can be created and the fate can be changed, both of them. I believe in reincarnation. Karma is nothing but an accumulation of our actions of recent past, and what will be in the future. So it depends upon whether the constitution of a human being is more mental or more physical and more spiritual. Physical people like Taurus, like Virgos, like Capricorn, find it very hard to change their living habits, like thinking habits and all that. Then come the intellectual people, like Gemini, like Libra, the Aquarius. These people easily change their habits, thinking habits and work habits. Then come the fire signs. So it all depends upon how much messed up our karma, how many mistakes we have made. Big mistakes, small mistakes. Small mistakes require a little bit of small adjustment in life, and then we can be more successful.
I'm a Gemini. Which zodiac signs do I get along with?
Well, Geminis normally get along with most people, but especially with Libras and with Aquarians, meaning somebody born in February or somebody born in October, you'll be able to get along. Why is that so? Because on a mental level, their value system will be very similar or complementary to whatever your value system is.
What if people in my immediate orbit are not in harmony with me?
Well, you can know by constructing the horoscope all the people who are not in harmony. Now it depends upon the degree of harmony and the degree of disharmony with a person. So it all depends upon how great a role that person who disagrees with you plays in your life.
Thank you. We'll have more questions next week.
Introducing for the first time Star Vision Orchestra.
This week we have some questions via email, and the first question is from Jim from California, and he says, how can the stars affect a person?
The answer is that the stars do affect. The first thing is that anything in creation has impact on everything. Whatever affects the mass affects the individual, and the planets exercise a vibrational impact on each and every person. That the impact may differ, may vary from degree to degree, but it does. It has to do with vibration of a planet.
The second question is from Maria from Ohio. She says, I am an Aquarius. Do I get along with a Taurus?
Well, you don't. And you don't have to get along with anybody. They have to try to get along with you. To be honest with you, an air sign like Aquarius or a Libra or Gemini does not get along with the earthly Taurus, because Taurus people happen to be very materialistic and very earthbound, and the air signs are more, they have more principle. They do things for principle, and the earthly signs like Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn They do things for practical reason. It is this reason that an Aquarius will have a very hard job putting up with a practical Taurus.
And the third question is from Laura from New Jersey. She says, is astrology a science or an ideology?
It is neither a complete science nor an ideology, because the human being has got three things: a physical level, and a mental level, and a spiritual level. So, because the science of the astrology involves mathematical calculation, so it becomes rather mathematical and it becomes a science. But we take the planetary positions and the stars in relation to a human being that lives on a physical, intellectual, and spiritual level. So it is a way of looking at life. So it is neither in absolute terms, astrology neither a science nor an ideology. It is in between something. It is applied influence of the planets on the human lives. That would be near the mark, I think. We'll be back shortly after this commercial break. Our guest today is Dr. Kelly Meland Lewis. She is a PhD in educational psychology, and her background is cognitive behavior therapy. And she's a member of the International Positive Psychology Association. It's a rather long name. So how long have you been doing whatever you have been doing?
For about 5 years now.
I've been struggling with this word, cognitive behavior, and I know nothing about cognitive behavior. Could you throw some light on it?
Yes, it means that the way we think determines how we behave.
That right, makes sense. Yeah. Should have thought of it, but I never did. And how do you define positive psychology? How do you differentiate between positive psychology from a negative psychology?
Well, traditional psychology focuses on people's disorders. Oh, you have this disorder, you have that disorder, we're going to do this treatment, we're going to do that treatment. Positive psychology focuses on what people's strengths are, what their traits are, and we say we're going to help you build something meaningful out of your life.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So when you marry these two terms, that is cognitive behavior. So if somebody is not quite there, so
I help them. I help them to see their strengths. Somebody comes to me, I had a case of somebody who came to me, and she's very anxious, she has a lot of depression, and she's always thinking about all the bad things, constantly. And I noticed that she's very organized in her thinking, and I noticed that she's got an excellent memory. So I said to her, you know what, you have an excellent memory, and you have such excellent organizational, I think maybe you would be good. She doesn't have a job. You would look for office management. So, you know, we worked on making her feel a little better. Okay, I teach some meditation techniques to help people focus, and then what I'll do is I'll try to suggest things that will help her, positive things. So she goes on job interviews, and I help her figure out, maybe she comes to me, what types of interviews, what types of jobs. And this person got a wonderful position in an organization as an office manager, and her whole life's turned around.
how long do you think the whole process of changing the direction of thinking, it must take you must go through a process of change.
You go through a process of change, but each person is different. I mean, you know yourself, each person may have a different astrological sign, and they may have a different response to my kind of therapy.
By the way, talking about astrology, do you believe in astrology?
I believe that it's a great force in the world.
Have you experienced this force of astrology? Or you only, it's just a philosophical, or is that a hypothesis? I mean, do you speak from experience or conjecture?
I think I speak from both.
Oh, that's nice. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching Star Vision, and I'm talking to Dr. Kelly Meland Lewis. We'll be back after this short break. And we are back with Dr. Meland Lewis. So you were going to teach her the technique of relaxation, is that it?
Yes, I do a technique with a lot of my clients where it's called progressive relaxation. I have you breathe in, hold it, and out. I do this 3 times. Breathe in, hold it, and relax. And one more time. Breathe in and relax. And then I ask you to think about your feet. Many people haven't thought about their feet before. And I
No.
want you to think completely about your feet. Feel your toes, feel the bottoms of your feet. And then what I'd like you to do is make a ball with your feet. Curl your toes up as tight as they can. And you want to breathe in and hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, and relax your feet. Good. And then I ask you to think about your legs. And I want you to think, feel your legs. Feel if you're holding any tension in your legs. Sometimes people hold tension in the back of their leg. Okay, when we breathe in, you're going to squeeze your calf muscles. So breathe in and in, squeeze, 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 and release. Next, we're going to come up to your thighs, okay?
Okay.
You can try to relax around a little bit and see if you're holding any. And this is what's very important. You talked about the physical versus the mental. And what I find is a lot of people who have physical tension hold it in their body. You know, they hold it in their body.
Why do they do that?
I don't know. Do you know why they? I don't really know why they hold it.
Is it a habit or is it conscious effort?
It could, I think it's definitely a habit. It's not conscious, because most people, when I'm going through the relaxation exercise, say, oh, that's funny, I'm tense there, and they didn't even know it. So I always like everybody that I work with to really learn to do progressive relaxation. I think it's really important every night to do a progressive relaxation, especially if you have sleeping problems. So we would take the tops of our thighs, and we would breathe in, and we would squeeze, 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 and blow it out. Right.
Now, if you wanted to get more information, doctor, how do we do it? Do you have a website?
Yes, I have a website. It's Dr.